What's up everyone, this is Yasser Khalid, and in today's video I will be talking about the top teams in the Ultra League Open meta. What's Ultra League Open meta? It's basically legendaries, XLs, as long as they are below 2500. And I've divided most of the meta stuff into good leads, good safe swaps, and generalist, which is good everywhere. Good leads, those Pokemons like have a baiting move. Plus, they provide some decent fast move pressure, such as Scrafty, Obstagoon, Machamp having the best fast move in the game, A9, Charm, Nidoqueen, just being Nidoqueen, Poison Jab, Poison Ping, everything, and then eventually you'll put your opponent to swap out because they will get fast move down. Trevenant, the same, fast move pressure, plus a decent coverage and a baiting move. Talonflame, a decent fast move pressure that can ramp up. So eventually opponent is gonna swap out to force you to swap out, which will put you in a better and also a decent or like in a favorable lineup. The good safe swaps, those Pokemon like they have the advantage almost of flipping any matchup either by energy lead or by having decent moveset that does very well versus everything. One of the best safe swaps is Pidgeot. As long as the opponent doesn't have a steel Pokemon, Pidgeot can flip the swap versus anything. Walrein, by just being the most broken Pokemon in the Ultra League overall. Classic, Remix, and Open as well. Cofagrigus, it's a decent safe swap. I think it's a better closer than safe swap, so you can use it either a counter swap. For example, if they safe swap Nidoqueen, if they safe swap Cresselia, Cofagrigus can actually do something decent. Regirock, by being the spammiest Regi among all of them, and by having a nuke every 5 seconds and a half. Drapion, which I believe the most broken Pokemon, the most broken XL, let's just say it this way, because this Pokemon can flip any matchup, even as a poison type. It's a poison type that can even beat the steel as long as you get a crunch debuff. Jellicent, by just being too thick and with a decent nuke potential from Shadow Ball, as long as your opponent is not dark, Jellicent can do everything. I mean, Trevenant is a funky matchup, but Jellicent can still win the 0, just due to the bulk. Snorlax being the budget Jellicent. Excadrill, why Excadrill is here? Yo, Excadrill, go somewhere else. The generalist, those Pokemon like don't care about anything due to their like Omega stats, like a Omega bulk. For example, Giratina, by being the most annoying Pokemon, most spammy, almost like 5-4 fast charge move, 5-4 fast charge move, decent bulk. Same for Mandibuzz, Snarl, Dark Pulse, and Aerial Ace. Not the best move, but it has a decent subtyping like Flying and Dark, so technically nothing out there can hard counter you other than the Charmers, I assume. Swampert, I'm not gonna say anything about Swampert. G-Fisk, by being G-Fisk, the Pokemon with the best offensive typing, which is ground, and the best defensive typing, which is steel. Combine them together and you get a monster. Registeel, a recently buffed meta-changing Pokemon now. I believe Registeel is the Ultra League meta now, so it's Registeel plus 2 covers. Or three hard answers to Regi. But the thing is, I don't think there is 3 hard answers to Regi in the Open Ultra League, because the Zap Cannon is just gonna add up. Those are the main codes. There is some also codes that are solid in the game, but not everywhere. Could be anti-meta. For example, Venusaur. Venusaur now can actually beat Registeel, because Venusaur resists everything from Registeel, plus Venusaur have the best charge move almost, which is Frenzy Plant. Cofagrigus, okay, I already talked about this thing. Sylveon, by being the best Charmer. Deoxys Defense, by being the highest counter user bulk stat product in the Ultra League. DD can beat Registeel in the 1 and the 2. It's a scuffed matchup because the Zap Cannon debuff is gonna add up, which will lead to Registeel winning the 2, I think. But Registeel doesn't shield, doesn't care about shielding, so it's a fine matchup. Regirock, I already talked about this thing. Drifloon being an annoying typing flying ghost, so you no longer care that much about Obstagoon as a ghost type. Oh, sorry. You no longer care that much about Scrafty and Mandibuzz, but because with Energy Lead you can beat both due to the debuff from Icy Wind. Greedent is the most underrated XL in the Ultra League meta. I believe it's the best anti-meta Pokemon. You might argue something different, but I believe, like here, what's the best? Greedent and Kommo-o and yo. Umbreon's anti-meta nowadays, yeah, sir. Okay, sorry for that mistake. Let's put it here as a safe swap. Greedent, again, if you want something reliable, something that win games, Greedent is one of them. It doesn't care that much, like you only get hard countered by counter users, but believe me, Registeel is not even a bad matchup for the Greedent because they need two focus blasts, and people usually do not throw Zap Cannon on Greedent, and by the time Registeel get to 2 Zap Cannons, the Greedent can get like Pod Crunches, which is like enough to put it in a very low health. So you can actually rely on Greedent. Empoleon, don't use it. Empoleon is just a Walrein nowadays, so anything Empoleon do, Walrein does it better. Blastoise being a good answer to the ground, like you beat Swampert, you beat some other stuff, but the thing is, thank you. Blastoise, like you beat Swampert, you pretty much don't beat anything, but you soft lose to everything. So with Energy Lead, you can beat almost all the stuff, as long as Crest doesn't have Grass Knot. With health advantage, you also can beat most of the stuff. So if you play styles like Chip and Dip, yeah, this is a decent Pokemon. Kommo-o, I believe, is the best one here. It's a core breaker to most of the old teams that has been used in the Ultra League meta. So if you hate the old Ultra League meta, Kommo-o is your Pokemon. Politoed, by being an XL version of Swampert, doesn't hit hard as a Swampert, but you can stall the 60 seconds clock in the swap by just spamming Wither Balls. You can also have access to Earthquake or Blizzard, depend on what coverage do you want, what stuff do you want to cover. And being a harder answer to Talonflame, because Swampert at one point have to shield from Talonflame, while Politoed doesn't care enough to shield. Like Politoed can risk no shielding a Brave Bird, but Swampert can't. Especially Shadow Swampert, he pretty much shield everything. So let's combine those into the top meta teams. Like, what's the top meta teams that has been used in the last couple seasons, or most likely I will be covering the stuff that has been very popular in the last season or in the last rotation. The most, according to PvPoke, if you go PvPoke team building tool, PvPoke will recommend this team, which is Trevenant Double Steel. Basically, this team is very weak to Talonflame, but it's playable. If you know how to play the Talonflame teams, you can actually beat any team with this thing. Scrafty is an issue also, but Scrafty is manageable because Trevenant is fine in the 2, and I believe Registeel can put it very low. Trevenant can Shadow Claw down. It's a tough matchup, but it's manageable. It's playable. The Talonflame matchup, Trevenant can almost win the 0. G-Fisk can get it very low. Same for Registeel. So it's not that easy of a matchup, but believe me, Talonflame doesn't want to play any of those 3. Moving to the second best team in the Ultra League meta. This team, the YTX version, the BBML. YTX is one of the pillars in the community. He's very known for like his top most used teams in every meta. If you follow, make sure to give him a follow on Twitter, and you will actually see he posts like every week about the top teams in every. He posts about the top teams in every cup almost every week. So this team basically is Giratina plus 2 answers to Charm. Giratina with the Dragon Breath, not Shadow Claw. Why? Because of Obstagoon. Giratina with the Dragon Breath can beat Obstagoon. Giratina with Shadow Claw can never beat Obstagoon. So you save the Giratina with Dragon Breath, and 2 stuff in the back used to be weak to Swampert, so you have to bait out the Swampert with Empoleon. They save swap their Swampert, you keep some health on your Giratina, and then you Dragon Breath the Swampert down. I believe there is a video on Pogo King YouTube channel, make sure to check it, like YTX using Poison Jab Amok into Legend. But with the increased use of Walrein after its community day, Walrein just replaced Empoleon. So Empoleon now is kinda a better Empoleon, Walrein, so you can have Walrein here. Also, you can replace this thing with Skunk because of Registeel. Because Skunk, with Skunk, if like the Skunk doesn't mind playing Registeel, not unlike Amok where it gets almost completely walled by Registeel, because Skunk has Flamethrower, which does lots of damage, and its Shadow hits harder, not as bulky as Amok, but it's kind of a replacement. Like if you want to have a different version of this team, yeah, you make sure to run this version. Basically 3 hard stuff, 3 hard hitting from fast move pressure. Moving into the next team I have here, it's just a triple XL team. Jellicent, Scrafty, and G-Fisk. This team is basically triple XL, so there is not that much of a brainstorm ideas about this team. It's just like the first 3 stuff that people were actually able to build XLs that aren't Talonflame. Jellicent, Scrafty, G-Fisk. Anything about this team is kinda weak to Drifblim. Drifblim can actually beat all of these stuff with the correct baiting. Scrafty is also tough. So how do you play it? One, you can actually run Bubble Beam or Bubble Ice Beam Jellicent. But it's a tough matchup. Most of the Scrafties are in the back, so you can use Scrafty to kill the Scrafty. Another team that also was popular by inadequates in the Ultra League. In the Ultra League Remix, I think. G-Fisk, Mandibuzz, Scrafty, G-Fisk, Double Dark. With this team, you need Air/Mandy to bait out the Charmer in the back. So you use G-Fisk as something that doesn't lose almost to anything. And you use Air/Mandy to beat out the Obstagoon, 1, 2, to save swap and bait out the Charmer in case they have it, so Scrafty can run through the back line later in the game. Also, Air/Mandy just became like a hard, just beat all the fighters with a Snarl, it lose most likely, or like soft win to versus the fighters. And you still have to shield their nuke while they don't care about shielding your nuke. Again, with this team, you need Air/Mandy. Moving into my teams now, like Yasser, what are the teams that you were running last rotation? Well, I was running 3 teams basically, and I think I have 3 YouTube videos about those teams. Okay, the first team, Kommo-o with a Drapion, Registeel. What is the idea behind this team? Registeel is too strong. No one can even argue about that. Drapion, I believe, is the most broken XL in the game. Nothing is even close, because this thing can beat its own counters by getting a crunch debuff. If you get a crunch debuff, you win the 2 versus everything. So if you have a Shadow, it's even much better. I don't have the Shadow one. I don't have a good Shadow, let's say it this way. Kommo-o is just a core breaker to most of the stuff that in the Ultra League. Like, you don't mind playing Cresselia, you don't mind playing Giratina, you beat Talonflame, you beat Swampert, you beat Poliwrath, you beat Jellicent, you beat Mandibuzz. Like, there is no hard wall to Kommo-o other than a Charmander, and no one leads a Charmander. Most of people, like, with the Charmanders lead Obstagoon, and you just easy clap the Obstagoon. So, but the thing is, what if I don't have Kommo-o? It's a new Pokemon. Sorry, a core breaker to this team, a Trevenant was tough in the lead for me, and I always had to go down a shield, but as long as I kill this thing, there is nothing that can wall the back line. Because I can use Drapion as a Swampert bait or Registeel as a Swampert bait, and then the other one can run through while I like saving some extra HP on the Kommo-o for later in the game. That should be the case. Yeah, so what if I don't have Kommo-o? Well, I tried the team first with Poliwrath. And Poliwrath was doing amazing. Like I still can't tell which one is a better core breaker for the meta, Poliwrath or Kommo-o. I think Poliwrath, again, you need XL Poliwrath. Non-X, don't like try to talk like, oh yes, I have non-XL Poliwrath. No, you need the XL Poliwrath. I believe for the Talonflame matchup where you can live 2 flame charges plus the Incinerate, there is some couple extra matchups. One of them is Dragonite. Well, no one cares about Dragonite. But when I checked the IV, I think you need the XL Dragonite. You need the XL Poliwrath. Non-XL Poliwrath will work, but it won't work as intended. Poliwrath now is better than Politoed just for the Registeel, because you have Dynamic Punch. The other move could be Scald. You can run Scald. You can run... Like, I think the moveset here is not the one I tried. There is a YouTube video I made. Just go to my YouTube channel, Triple XL Open Ultra League, Registeel, Drapion, and Polylight. There is a video on my YouTube channel. Just go make sure and check the videos. And you will see how did I play most of the matchups. I believe I had like 12 matchups where like I tried to have every potential lead and how did I play it. Again, Registeel, no flash cannon, focus blast, and zap cannon. Another team that I tried as well. Well, like you can see this one, and now moving into my favorite version of those two. I was actually having fun more with Blastoise. Why? Because I have a rank 1 Ultra League Blastoise with sunglasses. So I love that thing. And Blastoise was one of the stuff that get me to page 1 last season. So I'm actually going to use this one. This is my favorite team among those 3 so far. Blastoise being something that's soft close to everything, so you can always farm down with either Registeel or Kommo-o, or you can actually beat most of the stuff slightly and you leave no health to the opponent to farm you down. A tough Pokemon for this team is Trevenant. Trevenant can beat everything here because Trevenant can beat Kommo-o in the 1 and the 0 because of Shadow Ball. I think you win the 0 slightly. You beat Blastoise. It's not even a fun matchup for Blastoise. Registeel is a very funky matchup, but it's a Trevenant favor. I'm talking about the XL Trevenant here. I don't talk about the lucky traded Trevenant. Now moving into another BBML team. I think Inadequance was running this team. This team is basically 3 stuff that soft lose to everything, also soft win to everything. For example, Poliwrath doesn't reliably beat everything, but you can always win while they have a slight HP, and then like you either farm down with Poison Sting or with Confusion. Those 3 stuff are literally 3 core breakers, which is Inadequance game style, like how Inadequance play the game. Most likely he just play terrible core breakers that soft lose to everything and then with a slight energy advantage they can beat everything. Make sure to check his live stream at twitch.tv/Inadequance. And yeah, I am not sure about, I think he changed one of those 3, but I think he kept Armor the Mewtwo and he kept the Shadow Drapion. Moving into another BBML team, was created by Softo. This is her Ultra League Remix team 2 seasons ago, and I want to talk about it because this Jellicent is a very underrated Pokemon now. People would have placed it with Trevenant, but Jellicent can beat stuff Trevenant can't beat, such as Talonflame, such as reliably beating G-Fisk, such as what? I think that's it. But yeah, the Nidoqueen, sorry, the Nidoqueen, the XL Nidoqueen. Trevenant cannot beat XL Nidoqueen, while Jellicent can easily clap Nidoqueen. So with this team, you have 3 stuff that beat Registeel. You have 3 stuff that also can almost beat Nidoqueen as well. I mean, Scrafty doesn't reliably beat Nidoqueen, but with energy advantage, it does. Nidoqueen, you have the Mir. A core breaker to this team is Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus is tough for 1, 2 here. Cofagrigus doesn't beat Scrafty, but you can get Scrafty very low because the counter doesn't add up. It's double resisted. Kommo-o is tough also, but actually any of those Pokemons can win the 2 versus Kommo-o. Scrafty can beat Kommo-o in the 2. Nido can beat Kommo-o in the 2. Jellicent can beat Kommo-o in the 2 as well, because Jellicent has like a massive bulk. Like I believe even Jellicent can get Kommo-o to a very low HP down and shield without even needing to shield anything, because Dragon Claw doesn't do anything to Kommo-o. Sorry, to Jellicent. Now moving to the top teams from PvPoke and Go Battle Log. One of the top teams that was out there is Talonflame, Giratina, and Walrein. I think Shadow Walrein is much better. This team is basically two stuff that are very accessible to everyone, 3 stuff that very accessible to everyone. If you don't like Giratina, you can replace it with a Trevenant. What's the idea why this team is just a budget team? Everyone has Talonflame, everyone has Walrein, Community Day, everyone has Giratina. You don't need any specific massive IV advantage to beat. Like, I believe everyone at this point should have Ultra League Talonflame, everyone should have Walrein, everyone should have Giratina. So this is the most budget BBML team. I think so. Moving into the next team, I call it easy outbulk. You just outbulk everything. This team is basically stat product walking on legs. That's it. Like Cresselia just having 5200 stat product, same for Reggie Steel 5200, Giratina 4900. So we're talking about 15,000 stat product. That's like Swampert is almost 3,000. 3,000? No, 3,500. 3,500. We're talking about 5 Swamperts here. This team is just gonna outbulk everything. And if the opponent doesn't shield the right move, like if the opponent shield from Giratina, they lose because they will be down shields when they need to shield nukes from Reggie. And the idea behind this team, there is no idea. Just outbulk. Just be bulkier than the opponent. Moving into another team that is triple hard counters to Steel, triple hard counters to Reggie or G-Fest, call it whatever. I mean, Trevenant is, sorry, Walrein is not an answer, and it's not a hard counter, but it's an answer. It's a soft answer. Like, it doesn't reliably beat G-Fest, but with energy advantage, with baiting correctly at scenario, you can actually beat it. So this team, just Earthquake everything. There is Earthquake from Swampert, Earthquake here. There is Hydro Cannon, Icicle Spear, and then there is Talonflame in the back to clean everything, because Talonflame is one of the best closers in the Ultra League meta. Moving into the next game, the next team, it's not that much of a different team, but it's kind of, you know, it's like, I call it a Swampert with 5 shields, because Cresselia can tank everything. Same for Reggie. Like, this team basically rely on the bulk from the back line, and you use shields only on your Swampert. You only shield the Swampert. Reggie Steel, Cresselia are there to tank moves that Swampert cannot tank. So you most likely you will be throwing the neutral move, and you will be catching a point charge move on one of those two. Copagrigus is tough. XL Trevenant is very tough for this team. I don't think you can beat XL Trevenant. You can rely on beating the non-XL Trevenant. Versus Trevenant, I think you just swap to Reggie. Opponent most likely will stay in, but it's a very tough matchup. I don't like this team. It was one of the popular teams, but I don't like it. I wouldn't try it. If you want to try it, feel free to. Now, moving into a popular team, a popular core, Obstagoon with Talonflame. I think it was popularized first by Walwar when Talonflame came in, because Walwar only had budget stuff. So he was running Talonflame with Obstagoon and Gengar in the back. When Trevenant came in, Trevenant just basically replaced Gengar didn't exist at the beginning to be swapped. I mean, Walwar had it because Walwar doesn't grind that hard, and that's the stuff that he has in Ultra League. But I believe also NCK, make sure to give him a follow. NCK228 on Twitch. He runs this team almost in every league. Like I think he ran Nidoqueen sometimes instead of Trevenant. But the core Talonflame or a Fire with Obstagoon, he ran this core almost in every league. A tough core breaker to this team. There was no core breakers for this team other than just hard countering them. Now Kommo-o is actually a core breaker to this team. It's manageable, it's playable, but it's an annoying to play versus. Make sure to give NCK a follow. I think, like, if you want to run this team specifically, he's gonna be playing it in every league where he can. Moving into the Resident Sleeper team, the team that everyone hates, Nido Double Dark. But in this cup, in the Open Ultra League, you don't run Nido in the lead, you play it ABA Dark. Why? Because Nidoqueen doesn't, because Obstagoon in Open Ultra League is a much better lead than Nidoqueen. Obstagoon only lose to Chalmers, but Nidoqueen can actually hard lose to some stuff. Something to mention about this team, I think NCK here ran Cross Chop Night Slash on Obstagoon, but with this specific team, you need a nuke on Obstagoon. You either need Hyper Beam or Gunk Shot. You need one of those two. Why? Because your ABA weak to Charm. So one of those darks has to get the Charmer very low. And the only way to do that is by having a nuke. So you either run Gunk Shot or Hyper Beam. I believe Hyper Beam is slightly better because of the stab damage, where Gunk Shot lacks the stab damage and it doesn't have the best coverage with Night Slash. Nidoqueen here is being the anti-Charmer, Scrappy being a decent closer. Now moving into a team that I adjust slightly, like the Wholesome team. I know Wholesome doesn't play this team in the Open Ultra League. You can replace a Snorlax with Walrein, and you can actually get a decent Open Ultra League team. Core breakers to this team, if you're playing for versus Wholesome, good luck. If you're playing versus Crimson, anything can break this team. Groudon in Ultra League can actually beat Crimson. Rapidash, he lost to Rapidash once. Deoxys defense is very tough for Crimson. I don't think Crimson can even beat Deoxys defense. Ho-Oh is tough. If it's Shadow, he's gonna top left. He has no idea how to... Blaziken. Have you ever seen Blaziken open Ultra League? Well, Crimson. That's tough for Crimson to beat. Lucario can even beat the Crimson with this team. Lucario is tough for Crimson. Gliscor, I've never seen him beating Gliscor for once. The most reliable core breaker is Toxicroak, but Toxicroak doesn't exist in Open Ultra League. If you're trying that thing in Open Ultra League, well, good luck trying to win. The only team you're gonna beat is this one if you're queuing into Crimson. If you're queuing into Wholesome, I don't think you can even beat this team. Moving into a team that is just Fast Move Pressure by Aragon's my thing. And this team, he got a rank 2 Shadow Blastoise and he felt committed to try this Pokemon. And I think he has like a rank 1 or rank 2 or rank 5, something like this Shadow Skunk. And he asked me like, what should I pair with them? I told him like, just run Trevenant. Trevenant is just a decent Pokemon in any cup where like you can put Trevenant. The coverage is amazing on this Pokemon. And he actually went like 23-2 in one day. The day after he went also almost the same. Because the good thing about Skunk over the other Dark is that you can have a nuke that does super effective to steal, unlike other Dark, except Scrafty. But the fast move pressure on Skunk in the neutral matchup just made it superior to the other poison Dark Pokemon. Like Drapion is good, but Drapion is a charge move dependent. This thing is a fast move dependent with a nuke potential to the steal. This is a solid team, I believe. I like that it's 2 Shadow. So if you no shield one of the charge moves, I think you're gonna get fast move down by any of those 3. Moving into the next team, I call it Frosty. Yeah, so what's the unique thing about Frosty? There is nothing unique about Frosty teams. It's literally the same. Nido, Licky, Scrafty. Scrafty, Nido, Licky. The only thing, like when Frosty decides to change his team, he's just gonna do this. Like, he's just gonna do this. And then he's gonna like fuck up some games and then he's just gonna get it back. Literally the same. Nothing new. Nothing. I think this is the exact order for his team. Nido in the back. You use Lickitung to beat out the G-Fisk, the Steel. But in Ultra League, Nidoqueen doesn't care about the Steel anymore, I believe. So the only thing, like this is the team that Frosty ran in every league: Ultra League Classic, Ultra League Remix, Great League Remix if he can. That's it. Yasser. So those are the teams to use. What are the teams that we shouldn't be using? Well, this is the team. Don't try this team. This team is so bad. Like I don't know the mindset behind this team. I don't think there is even a mindset behind this team. It's just the 3 stuff that are bad in the game. Like I know this thing got a community day, but to be honest, the only thing we benefited from this community day is getting a Hundo Sandshrew for Great League to use in Kanto Cup whenever Kanto Cup get back. That's it. Those 3 stuff are bad. Don't try this team, okay? This team is weak. Yeah, I mean, feel free to check Crimson at twitch.tv/Crimson19 and watch him losing every time. Pokemons to avoid, don't try Berserker. Berserker is so bad. Gengar is even worse. Electivire is worse. Durant, I tried Durant once. I think I went to 323. This thing doesn't beat anything. It doesn't even beat Obstagoon. Milotic is fine. Gyarados is bad now. Like Gyarados used to be good because you can beat the Cresselia, Talonflame, and Registeel. You don't beat Registeel anymore. If they have Grass Knot, you don't beat Cress. Charizard doesn't beat anything. Talonflame is just a superior fire Pokemon. Armored Mewtwo, I mean, if you're in Adequance, try it. If you're not in Adequance, don't even bother. Shadow Dragonite, just save it for to flex on your locals. That's the only thing you can use it. And that's the end of the video. Special thank to GoBattleLog.com for providing me with the usage, like the top used teams in every league. PvPoke for providing the amazing tools that can help me in building teams and finding the core breakers. YTX Pikachu for giving me the access to his to his data sheet, to his team sheet and usage, feel free to give them a follow. Feel free to check their websites. And that's the end of the video. If you like it, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you have any question about any of those teams, make sure to leave it in the comment section below, and I will be glad to answer it. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Peace.